My fellow citizens, I thank you for the blessings of your time given to me this evening, so that I may share with you warnings about a great peril facing our stable government. I speak, of course, of my opposition's candidate for this upcoming election and the threat that he is trying to inject into our beloved way of life. Freedom. He says he offers freedom. What is this freedom? For centuries, mankind has struggled with his so-called freedom. We have all read about it in our history books, and we know the inevitable, painful outcome. This mirage he calls freedom is something mankind has attempted since we first walked this earth. My citizens, his freedom is a false prophet. It is a lie. It is a siren's song luring you, seducing you. But in the end, it misleads us and it betrays us. Beloved citizens, do not let my opponent's delusions deceive you. He is a man who lies to himself as well as those around him. Yes, of course, we all know that listening to one's own lies leads to a point where one cannot discern the truth, either with themselves or with others. And we all know that it leads to a failure to respect oneself and others. And we all know that by not respecting others, we cease to love. My fellow citizens, I will not debase this podium with the details of what our opponent and his lies will do. History has already taught us that bitter lesson. It starts with lies. His lies. His lies. I have never lied to you. My administration will never lie to you. Together, you and I, brothers and sisters, we cannot allow our society to spiral into entropy. This opponent goes before you empty-handed with some promise of freedom that you should dread and fear, for nothing has caused more suffering to mankind than his fallacy. His so-called freedom can only lead to chaos, to war, to starvation, and to destruction. Brothers and sisters, didn't our long-dead forefathers already teach us that without singular leadership, society will only starve? That the mob will never consent to live, that the mob can never coexist in peace. Individually, we are great creations. But as a mob chasing his so-called freedom, man has historically shown us that he cannot even feed himself. Do not fear, citizens. He may promise ideas that merely feed the mind and soul. But can it compare to the tangible bread and fruit that my administration is already providing you? He says man cannot live on bread alone. And I agree. And I agree. Because unlike this empty-handed opponent, we know that my administration has provided you with more than just bread and fruit. I have provided you peace and contentment. I have provided you proven leadership. Brothers and sisters, continue to entrust me. Entrust those of us who have dedicated our lives to feeding you and ensuring peace. Our nation is not an oligarchy from the past. Our nation is no longer our forefathers bumbling around in the dark. How sad that they once actually believed that they had attained power, if even for a brief moment. And how sad that they continue to mislead us into thinking that humans confine this so-called freedom in some imaginary paradise. Always around the corner, always out of our grasp. And these detractors scoff at our selflessness and our obedience, yet it is my policy that constitutes the path to true and real freedom. Through our obedience, we are humbled. Therefore, with God's help, we will maintain the true spirit of freedom. And with that spirit, continued peace and stability. My fellow citizens, do not let our opponent or his lies come to us again. There is nothing more he can say, nothing more he can do that already hasn't been attempted. Our children's children will marvel at the society we have built. They will look back on us as if we were gods. My brothers, my sisters, I am your servant, and I will continue to be the protector of our true freedom. Again, I humbly thank you. May the heavens watch over our great nation, and may we continue to prosper in peace and contentment.